OCO, everybody. I'm a little whooped from the last couple days of planting out there, but show must go on. Got to get to work. So I'm back at it, collecting a few more seeds. Gonna try something that I actually I've played around with before, but saw it reaffirmed on David the Good's channel, where he's doing kind of like a pumpkin or squash mounds, so he doesn't have to break up and till the whole area. I've got a spot out in the old reclaimed hayfield that I'm going to just put some Georgia rattlesnake watermelon seeds from watermelon we grew here last year. And then I've also got some Georgia candy roaster squash that's going to go up there with the corn I planted, and then some Cherokee tan pumpkins. And I'm going to go ahead and get all these planted out there. And then we may do some more stuff. My terrible seed starting area, I do have some walking stick kale that I'm going to try and find a place out there. Some of it's a little too leggy, but we're going to try and save it. It's supposed to have been onions over here and wound up being some sort of sorrel. So that's terrible. This is probably the worst area for me, is I am terrible at starting seeds. As you can see here, I killed all that stuff. It's not real good at it, but that's why I prefer to start them in ground. That works for me. This is my disorganized seed area, but I'm going to get it organized, get it cleaned up, and get everything done. So hope you enjoy coming along for the journey. And if you saw my last video, you saw that I got some beans planted down here, Cherokee Nation turkey gizzard beans, and then I've actually got some I believe it's Ute. I could be pronouncing that way wrong, so forgive me. Ute tribe blue maize here, and here, 3 little mounds. And this whole thing's actually a big berm, and I've worked mulch and everything into it. I've got composted manure that I just added as kind of a top dressing before I put this mulch on it. So not traditionally following Three Sisters, but kind of working, you know, my own little experiment with it to see what I get. But I'm going to be taking my Cherokee Nation Georgia candy roaster squash, and I'm going to be planting it around the perimeter around here, and I'll just let it sprawl, come up some if it needs to, but just let it sprawl out here, and we'll go from there. And what y'all didn't see is I went ahead and planted seed potatoes right here from our potatoes that we grew last year down there. Had some issues because I left the crop in the ground too long, so I wanted to move them away from my main garden to see if the issues follow me here, which was an earwig infestation, or if the issues stay down there, which that is about a 80 to 100 foot garden, and I had them on the front half of the garden, and I've moved my potatoes this year to the back half of the garden, so they're the first thing I planted. So we'll see if they become an issue again. But I figured it'd be good to have a second generation grown on this property right here, and then we'll go from there. And if they grow good, then these will be my seed potatoes for next year. And we'll continue hopefully getting a little bit more adaptation, and you know, where they're getting used to our climate, so every year our crops should get a little bit better. But here I'm gonna get them candy roasters in the ground real quick, and then I'm gonna take us over there. I'm gonna start plugging in, like I said, the David the Good style mounds over there with the Cherokee tan pumpkins and the Georgia rattlesnake watermelons that are the second generation that last year we grew down there. And we'll see how that goes. Before I forget about it, I've got one Everglade tomato seedling that survived my terrible seedling skills. And I'm gonna go ahead and plug her in down here as well and see if she can take advantage of these trellises too. And hopefully I'll take some clones from this one and actually get a decent crop of the Everglade tomatoes if this one makes it. If not, I'll order some seeds and try again. I've got some heirloom seeds that I saved from last year's crop that I am going to be planting as well in the main garden. But I really would like to get these Everglades going. They seem like a real hardy tomato and seem like they do good on the farm. So didn't want to forget mentioning my lone survivor here. I'll be plugging it in on the other side of little elderberry down there. We'll see how that goes. Definitely still some fire ants over here. Always fun. Have to deal with that. All right. Let's see. How many do we have? One on me. Oop, fire ants. Fire ants. That's why I wore the gloves. Now I'm on to the David the Good portion where kind of experimenting, doing something similar to what he did. But I've got this area right here that I always just mow. It's eventually going to be part of the food forest. But as you can see, I'm working from way down here. And you know, when you're broke, you do what you can with what you got. So I've been slowly building my trees up here. I've got a little Pakistani mulberry there, a yellow fig there. I've actually got somewhere right in here, right there, I've got some sassafras. Had a avocado out here that survived 2 years in that insane frost. Even wrapped in plastic, it died. I'm hoping it'll come back from the root, but not sure. And I got a little rosemary and lavender right there just to plug some plants in the ground. And I'm trying to propagate some lamb's quarter over here. Wild spinach. I love it. And it only wants to grow down at our fire pile where we burn all of our wood and trash and stuff that we can't deal with other ways. But I'm trying to move as many of the seedlings out to different areas as possible. And we got this right here. Oh my goodness. Let me show you this before I get going. I know I sidetrack onto some tangents, but over here next door, there's a bamboo forest. Some invasive Chinese running bamboo, and it's trying to take over here. So what I'm eventually going to have to do is have some sort of a road barrier, which I was planning on having like a driveway all the way around the border anyway, except this little bit right here, it's all got wild blueberries everywhere. So I was going to have like a bush berm that I could build up and then drive down past it. But the invasion has begun. I've got to dig this thing out. It's only been here like a week. And I would put it at 25 feet tall. This thing is insane. Look at that. Brand new shoot. I'm over 6 foot tall. And this thing just dwarfs me. This is crazy. I can get about halfway up it with my hands. So I'm gonna have to get that out. Probably tie a tractor to it to snatch it out, just to stop it. So, I mean, these things are starting to pop up all along the border. I had actually noticed one popping up over here, and I guess this one found just the right spot it wanted to be in. And I mean, it's growing next to my super healthy blueberries. I love these blueberry bushes. They took a burn from that crazy high wind frost we had. But still, putting on tons of berries. If the camera will ever focus. I mean, they look so good. I should get a decent harvest off of these this year, as long as the birds don't get me. And this is only like the middle bush. And I mean, it's a 9-foot tall blueberry bush, but this bush, I've got to cut some of the oaks out that are popping up in there. But this bush runs about, this little bramble or whatever you want to call it, runs about 20 feet all the way across. And only this little middle section right here is flowering right now. But let me get to it and get to planting. My allergies are starting to kick in. Sneezes are hitting. We can get this knocked out. Throw in there, anybody who is a naysayer of these guys right here, I love having the electric weed eater. I did get this one used and didn't pay full price for it. You can find them on Marketplace and Craigslist and stuff like that and Amazon, but I think it is well worth it. Always having to worry about the ethanol free gas or get a fuel shut off for your machine because they build the carburetors to die with ethanol in it, and it's just such a hassle trying to keep these things going throughout the cold season. But this little thing you saw in the video, oh, I love it. It works so good. Snap the battery on, run it. I get 45 minutes per charge on it, and it's about all my body can handle anyway, probably a little more. And throw it on the charge, about 2.5-3 hours later, I'm ready to go again. If I had multiple batteries, it never slow me down. That thing runs great. Just so you can see, not quite as involved as David the Good's technique, but my soil's already pretty good up here. Probably some of the best soil on the property. I just started my forest at the bottom end instead of the top end. But you can look, it's nice and loose and black. It's got a little sand in it, which everything this close to Florida does. I get all the grass roots out of it that I can. I mixed in the amendments below and got my little spots now. I'm doing a slightly heavier experiment. I got 2 of my Georgia watermelons, my Georgia rattlesnake watermelons in there. 1 of the Cherokee tan pumpkins, and they're all 6 to 8 inches apart. And then I also added a Moringa and 2 pigeon peas that I grew here last year from seed. They're the Syracuse, New York cold hardy variety. I believe it's from True Love Seeds. That's my old partner in crime, Abby there. But I'm doing all of them since the pigeon peas are a nitrogen fixer. Will not rob from the watermelons and the pumpkins. And the Moringa are deep feeders. They won't rob. So I'm just curious to see how they all do. The Moringa and the pigeon peas don't need space, where the others are runners and go all over. So see how that goes, and we'll go from there. But as you can tell, my breathing's about gone. So I think that's probably going to do it for me today. I got a good bit done this morning. One of these days I'll take you along for a trip with the animals and my morning chores, but I think I'm going to settle in with some cold water. Time for a haircut too, if you hadn't noticed. And go from there. Wado for watching.